Have you ever looked at a movement and wondered how it spread so fast with what feels like unstoppable momentum? Well, it often looks like it's just happening on its own, but what if I told you there's often a highly structured, repeatable blueprint behind it? Today, we're going to break down a training manual that lays out exactly that, a very deliberate framework for creating a self-replicating movement. So let's pull back the curtain and take a look at the architecture.
Okay, so the entire system we're about to explore is built on one single, powerful idea, a pattern. The source material for this whole thing, drawing directly from this biblical quote, frames its method not as some loose set of guidelines, but as an exact replica. You know, like a mold. The whole goal is that anyone can pick up this pattern and reproduce the exact same results, which is how you ensure consistency and, of course, massive growth.
Now, the manual calls this system a disciple-making movement, or DMM for short. Its purpose is super clear. It's not just about getting one person to buy into an idea. Nope, it's about training that person to immediately train others, who then train others, and so on, creating this incredible cascade effect. What really sets this apart is its laser focus on multi-generational exponential growth. It's basically designed for virality from day one. So how does it actually work? Well, the entire blueprint is built on a four-stage journey. It starts with consecrate, then moves to catalyze, then commit, and finally congregate. Let's walk through them, because this is the exact path from a single idea to a completely self-sustaining community.
First up, we've got stage 1, consecrate. Now, before any kind of outreach or group building happens, the blueprint says everything, and I mean everything, starts with the individual. This whole stage is about internal prep work, establishing the core habits of the person who's going to carry this pattern forward.
And the logic here is actually pretty simple. You just can't build a massive movement on a shaky foundation. So the consecrate stage is specifically designed to instill the personal discipline and the right mindset for the long journey ahead. It's really the get your own house in order first phase of the whole blueprint.
And the process here boils down to 3 core habits. First is love, making compassion your default way of life. Second is pray, which you can think of as focusing your intent, specifically on growing the team and for the good of the community. And third, go, actively getting out there to find new people, to bring into the fold. These individual habits are basically the fuel for everything that comes next.
All right, that brings us to stage 2, catalyze. So, with the individual's foundation totally set, this is where things turn outward. It's where all that personal preparation finally meets the real world, and the process of engagement kicks off. This is all about creating that initial spark.
This is where the blueprint gets really, really practical. I mean, the catalyze stage isn't some high-level theory. It lays out specific, on-the-ground tactics for making that first contact and, maybe most importantly, for identifying the right people, the ones who are actually going to be receptive to the message.
The actions for this stage are super specific. First, engage. You make it a daily habit to start deeper, more meaningful conversations. Second, and this is the really critical step, find. The manual says you have to look for what it calls persons of peace. And third, enter. When you're invited into someone's home or their social circle, you accept. That's your gateway into a brand new community.
So, what exactly is a person of peace? The manual is very clear about this. They are the gateway to an entire community, and they have 3 very distinct traits. They are open to new ideas, they are spiritually hungry, searching for answers, and they are influential inside their existing social network. Finding this one person is seen as the absolute key to catalyzing a movement in a new community.
Right, so once a person of peace gives you that entry point, the process shifts into stage 3, commit. Now the focus changes from just making contact to actively training these new receptive individuals in the ways of the movement.
What really jumps out here is the emphasis on the word immediately. This is not some long, drawn-out training process. The commit stage is designed to get new followers to learn, obey, and share the pattern right away. This ensures the movement's DNA gets passed on quickly and accurately, almost like a virus replicating its code.
And the steps for this create a really rapid cycle of action. First, discover. You guide people to find these truths for themselves directly from the source material. Second, obey. You challenge them to apply what they've just discovered to their own lives without any delay. And third, tell. You push them to immediately go and share what they're experiencing with everyone in their network. Discover, obey, tell. It's a powerful, self-perpetuating loop.
And that leads us to the final phase, stage 4, congregate. This is the big moment where a small, committed group of people officially transitions into a formal, self-sustaining community that is now ready to multiply all on its own.
Yeah, the whole goal of the congregate stage is to create independence. It's about establishing a group, or a church, as the manual calls it, that doesn't need the person who started it anymore. It's got its own leadership, its own members, and its own internal drive to keep the cycle going.
The final 3 actions are what really lock in the multiplication. First, you assemble. You formalize the group, give it an identity. Second, appoint, and this is huge. You don't bring in outside leaders. Instead, you find and empower leaders from within the new group itself. That's what ensures real ownership and sustainability. And finally, release. You send out teams from this new group to go and start the entire 4-stage cycle all over again somewhere else.
And there it is, the entire system right here on one slide. Just look at the logic. It flows perfectly from the internal work of Consecrate to making that first contact and catalyze, then it fires up the replication engine and commit, before finally launching new, independent groups in the congregate phase. It is a remarkably complete, end-to-end system for engineering a movement.
So while this particular framework was obviously designed for a specific religious purpose, it leaves us with a pretty fascinating and honestly provocative question. What happens if you strip away the specific content? Is the pattern itself universal? Could a systematic 12-step process just like this one be used to turn any idea, any philosophy, or any social cause into a truly self-multiplying global movement? That's something to think about.